Hey guys, DannyBoy21 here, and today we're back with another video. If you haven't already heard, Rocket League Sideswipe added a new game mode called Squash. I started off the season at Gold 1, but I'm currently Plat 1. Now I'm going to explain how to play Squash and some common misconceptions about it. So to start off, Squash is a 2v2 game mode, and unlike other game modes, it's only 1 minute long because of the fast pace of the game. Also, the basic concept of this game mode is that you're going to want to change the ball to be the color of your team. Unlike Heat Seeker, where you can just touch the ball to make it the color of your team, you actually have to hit the ball into the ceiling or either one of the walls, and then the whole map will turn your color and you can continue the game. The ball also has a trail color, which will tell you which team touched the ball last. In this case, I touched it, and then when it hits the opponent, it turns orange, and then when it hits the wall, the ball turns orange because the opponents were the last ones to touch it. And then they have the potential to score, which they do because I'm bad and I get scored on by bots. Anyways, you basically just gotta make the ball your team's color and then hit the ball into the ground. And yeah, that's about it for how to play Squash. Overall, I think that Squash is a really fun new game mode, and it's definitely going to help the game because honestly, Sideswipe hasn't been updated in a really long time, so I think this might bring in some new players, which is really exciting. Now that I've covered how to play Squash, I'm going to go over some of the common mistakes that players are probably making, and then move on to some basic tips, followed by advanced strategies that you need to know. Anyways, I've recently examined and analyzed every aspect of Squash like a complete nerd, and I've found every single hidden strategy that will help you rank up. First off, I'll start with the common mistakes. The first things that I'm gonna say seem kinda obvious, but it's actually a more common mistake than you would think. This mistake is forgetting the color of your team and the color of the ball. Now, the reason I'm telling you people mess up on this is because most players in other game modes are solely focused on scoring on the opponent's net, and the color of the teams are irrelevant. In Squash, however, the color of the teams in the ball actually determine whether or not you should hit it. Another mistake that players are making is not using the entire floor. This is important because this means that you have the whole court to make a move, and there's no designated place that you need to be, unlike every other game mode. This gives players the option in Squash to switch directions and juke out the opponent. Juking out your opponents in Squash is a new concept that you should use in order to win more games. It's also important to understand that your opponent has the ability to juke you out, which is why you always have to expect the unexpected. Another mistake that pros might even make is going for stalls. Stalling in Squash doesn't work out that much because the ball is really fast, and it will most likely lead to an overcommit. Also, something that a lot of people might not know about Squash is that if you're losing like 4-5 or if you're winning like 5-4, it might seem like the ball can't touch the ground and anyone could take the goal like volleyball, but the two lower corners actually count as the ground, and if the ball touches them, then there's a potential for the game to end like this. So I'm probably going to make another video on common mistakes in Squash later, but for now, everything I just said were the main things that you should be knowing. Also, some weird things I found about volleyball with my friend. Apparently you can do that, and the ball can touch the ground if it hits that. That's pretty useless to know, but I found it really weird in the moment. Now I'm going to talk about some of the basic tips, starting with how to defend. The best way to defend is to move around the ground with your car flat and always adjusting your car so that it's under the ball. There's also times where you have to boost on the ground so that you can get to the ball since it moves ridiculously fast. If you defend the ball like this, the ball has the potential to bounce off your car really fast and hit a surface, giving your team the advantage if you didn't already have it. Another basic thing that you should know about Squash is the best way to move around the arena. It's extremely important to remember that the ball in this game mode moves really fast. In order to catch up to it, you're going to need to conserve your boost in a smart way. This means that when you're moving around on the ground, mainly try to use your joystick to move unless you need to use boost to save the ball. Also, when you're going for aerials, you should always be doing a fast aerial. There's two ways to fast aerial. One, you can hold boost while you jump, meaning that you need to use at least 3 fingers if you're playing on touch. And 2, you can enable the speed flip button, which is accessible by going to game settings, configure, and enabling that. After enabling the speed flip, you can use it for your aerials and use it in your kickoffs to get to the ball before your opponent. The next tip that you should know about this game mode is that you need to be feathering your boost in the air so that you can be in a good spot to intercept the ball wherever it is in the arena. Whenever your boost gets to around this low, you should try to flip towards the surface to regain your boost. You're always going to need boost in order to intercept the ball since it moves really fast. I really can't emphasize that the ball moves really fast enough in this game mode. Boost also helps you get to where you need to go, which is why it's important to be thinking about how much boost you have at all times. You should also know where you want to direct the ball when you're in a 50 with your opponent. There's 2 types of scenarios for 50s in squash. The first scenario is if your opponent has the advantage. In this case, you're going to want to push the ball towards the ceiling or a wall in order to give your team the advantage. The second scenario is if your team has the advantage. In this case, you need to push the ball down towards the ground so that you can score. Next, it's important that you save your flip for a good time. Using your flip to hit the ball in some situations might not be effective if the ball is already moving really fast. A good time to use your flip would be to get the ball before your opponent so that your team can get the advantage. You also might want to use your flip if you're trying to direct the ball towards a certain spot, get more power on it while it's not moving that fast. And also you should be using red shots, not gold shots, since they make it easier to direct the ball where you want it to go. Another thing to know is that there's going to be so many times in this game mode where someone gets lucky. This could either be you, your teammate, or even your opponents. The ball could always bounce in an unexpected way, which is again why it's important to always expect the unexpected. Now I'll get into the more advanced tips and strategies that you can use to improve your gameplay. The first thing you should know are the kickoff strategies. There's no kickoff strategy that's considered the best because the best kickoffs are the ones that change every time, making sure that you're unpredictable and the opponent can't read you. However, there are 2 really good kickoff strategies that I would highly recommend. 1. Hitting the ball towards the opponent's wall. This kickoff can be followed by double tapping the ball towards the ground, giving you a quick goal. The only problem with this is that it only works if the opponent fakes the kickoff or if you're faster to the ball than them. If your opponent goes for it, they will probably just pinch up towards the ceiling, which is actually the second kickoff and probably the best kickoff in my opinion. This kickoff pinches the ball against your opponent and there's a 50-50 chance that you get the advantage when it bounces off the ceiling. That's also why it's important for the teammate that's not taking the kickoff to stay on the ground and catch the ball off the ceiling if the opponents happen to get the advantage. You should also attempt to redirect the ball in your favor after it hits the ceiling to catch your opponents off guard. The ball moves really fast, so redirecting the ball off the kickoff can lead to a quick goal. Kickoffs are kind of like playing rock, paper, scissors with your opponent. There's good parts and bad parts to each kickoff. Another advanced tip that you need to know is how to make passing plays with your teammate. Passing plays in squash are an extremely effective way to score goals if you know how to do them right. The 2 main things to keep in mind while you're going for a passing play is to know where your teammate is and where your opponents are. You should mostly try to pass to your teammate only if you're confident that they can get to it. If your teammate is close to an opponent, you probably wouldn't want to pass to them because then the opponent can take the ball. You also wouldn't want to pass to your teammate if the opponents have the advantage, you're in the air, and your teammate is on the ground. This could end up in an own goal if you're not accurate enough. Instead, I would focus on hitting the ball towards the surface in order to regain the advantage. Another advanced strategy is to rotate with your teammate because, again, the ball is really fast and this can help to cover more space. It's a complicated concept, but here's the basics. When your teammate is in the air, you should be on the ground covering them. This is when your teammate is in first person and you are second person. When they move away from the ball, you need to go up into the air to stop your opponent from making any plays. Meanwhile, your teammate should be rotating down towards the ground to cover you, and this is when they become the second person and you become the first person. Those are just the terms that most people use to understand rotating. Not many players can rotate in this game mode yet, but you will get a better sense of it over time. It also might be hard to rotate with your teammate if you're trying to solo queue. Overall, the best advanced mechanics that you should be doing in game are redirecting and pinching. Both of these skills are unpredictable and you can do them anywhere, but they definitely take time to master. Redirects are mainly made up of changing the direction of the ball by reading it off the ceiling, either wall, the bottom corners, or the top corners. It's probably easier to read it off the ceiling or the walls. You can combo these redirects together to make insane plays such as this. You can also pinch the ball in any of these spots to create a lot of power and speed, which gives the ball the potential to be scored.
These wall pinches and even wall double taps are extremely effective, and here's how to do them.
I basically just let the ball come towards me, and when it got close, I pinched it downwards, which gave my team the advantage and the goal at the same time. It's a really quick way to set up an unexpected shot that completely changes the dynamic of the play. This is also a really good example of how easily a situation can get turned around in squash. I would just be careful because your opponents can do the same, and here's an example of that. As you advance in the game, you could even go for a team play with these pinches or redirects. Another thing you should be going for are dunks. Dunking your opponent can be a really helpful way to finish off a goal that would have been saved by them. There are ways to block dunks though, such as this, but they are very rare and it usually doesn't happen that much. Finally, I want you to always remember that you shouldn't get mad at your teammates for messing up because mistakes will definitely happen in this game mode. Obviously, if your teammate is purposely trolling, that's annoying, and I think we've all experienced it before. But for the most part, I wouldn't take it too seriously because in the end, Sideswipe is just a game and there's no need to stress about it.
What are you doing? Bro, my teammates are actually so bad.
Are you gonna hit the ball or not?
I carry the whole freaking game and all you do is sit there and miss the ball. If you suck at the game, just don't play it. Literally, you'd belong in bronze. But for real, this game mode is really fun, and although it seems complicated at first, you'll rank up if you focus on the basics and then everything else I said. Hopefully this video helped you out. I used CapCut to edit it, so a huge shout out to that. Thank you for watching, and this video took me a really long time, so I would really appreciate if you liked or subscribed. See you on the next one. Peace.